Welcome. I'm Doug Smith with Kentucky Valley Educational Cooperative. Today we're going to briefly discuss trauma-informed care for educators. We will start our discussion with a definition of trauma, then look at some trauma exposure types, and then briefly discuss traumatic stress. What is trauma? Trauma is witnessing or experiencing an event that poses a real or perceived threat of death, serious injury, or sexual violation. Trauma is defined by the event itself, actual or threat of harm or death to self or a loved one, and by the child's perception of that event or threat. So what is perceived as traumatic will vary by age, developmental level, and experience. Various ways children are exposed to traumatic events would be directly experienced, child maltreatment, being in a fire or car accident, could be closely witnessed, such as domestic violence in the family or community violence, and could be experienced in a secondary exposure, someone telling them of their trauma or seeing it on television. Trauma can be a single event known as acute trauma, or it could be ongoing or chronic as one type of trauma occurring repeatedly or multiple types of trauma exposure. Remember, the individual's perception of the event is what constitutes the definition of trauma. There are several different types of trauma exposures. Some may include child maltreatment, which would be physical, sexual, emotional abuse, or neglect. Family violence, which could include domestic violence or abuse of others in the family. Community violence may be seen as gang violence, shootings, fights, exposure to drug abuse. Man-made violence could be war, terrorism. Accidents may include motor vehicle, four-wheeler, fires. Medical procedures or treatments may include surgeries or being in isolation, and natural disasters such as floods, tornadoes, wildfires, hurricanes, etc. What is traumatic stress? Traumatic stress is stress that is overwhelming and causes significant disruption in functioning. Child traumatic stress refers to the physical and emotional responses of a child to threatening situations. Children who suffer from child traumatic stress are those children who have been exposed to one or more traumas over the course of their lives and develop reactions that persist and affect their daily lives after the traumatic events have ended. When a child is experiencing child traumatic stress, the stress interferes with the child's daily life and ability to function and interact with others. When we talk about child traumatic stress, we're talking about the stress of any child who's had a traumatic experience and is having difficulties moving forward with his or her life. Traumatic stress reactions are intense emotional responses to trauma. They impact the child's ability to self-regulate and may also affect the way they express or communicate emotions. Traumatic stress reactions may also be stored in the body as tension or other health complaints. Traumatic stress reactions may include intrusions, avoidance, hyperarousal or reactivity, dissociation, or negative alterations in mood and cognition. Some symptoms of intrusion may include nightmares, disturbing thoughts, flashbacks, physiological reactions such as body sensations, or intense prolonged psychological distress. Symptoms of avoidance may look like the students or children are avoiding internal reminders such as thoughts, feelings, physical sensations. They may also avoid external reminders, people, places, objects, activities, situations, conversations, so forth and so on. Hyperarousal reactivity may look like irritable or aggressive behavior, may be self-destructive or reckless behavior. Students may be jumpy or quick to startle, and may have problems with concentration or sleep disturbances. Dissociation may appear as daydreaming or being out of it, or feeling as if they are in a dream or in a movie. And negative alterations may include difficulty remembering parts of a traumatic event, persistent bad mood and difficulty experiencing positive emotions, decreased interest in things, feeling detached from others, persistent negative expectations, such as always thinking bad things will happen, or persistent distorted blame of self or others. Never my fault or always my fault. Thank you. I'm Doug Smith from Kentucky Valley Educational Cooperative. If you'd like to contact me for more information, my email address are doug.smith at hazard.kyschools.us or doug.smith at theholler.org. Thank you and have a great day.